but there.
It's time to ask Barry Davis.
Yes, and we have some Twitter questions. You know what's interesting is there's some names that sort of come and go, and the first one off the top, Lannister Maxwell. Oh, this guy's handle is fantastic.
You really dig on some of these names, don't you?
Lannister Maxwell. I mean, my parents called me Matt. Okay, so that's a little bit, it's kind of a cop-out. Lannister Maxwell's great. So this is from Lannister at God's 2 cents.
You know you can call yourself anything you want on Twitter, right?
I can.
That may not be his real name.
It might not be his real name. But
if it is, good for you.
Yeah, that's an inspired choice.
Yes.
Okay, so this is at God's 2 cents. When is a stolen base not credited as a stolen base? And Lannister says, thanks, by the way.
Oh, before I even answered the question.
Yes, he does.
Okay, when is a stolen base not considered a stolen base? It is when it is ruled as, you ready? Defensive indifference.
What?
So here's the deal. If a team is leading 8-0 and it's the ninth inning, or they're down 8-0 and it's the ninth inning, and a runner is on first base and he moves to second, and there's absolutely zero attempt to either keep the runner on or throw him out, we're just saying, take it. You can have it. It's your base. Go home with it. All yours.
That's not a stolen base?
That is not a stolen base. That is considered defensive indifference.
How do you score that?
Defensive indifference.
So on the scorecard,
I would write D-I. Defensive indifference.
Runner goes from...
Pretty fancy name, right? For we don't give a crap.
You know what? I think in life, I'm going to use defensive indifference.
There you go.
Okay.
When
so
your wife is yelling at you,
yes,
and you just don't want to fight, you just say, you look at her and go, honey, DI.
Yes. Okay. Hold on a second. So runner goes from first to second.
Yes.
Scored as defensive indifference.
Correct.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay. Barry Davis, honestly, legitimately, I'm impressed by you. That's awesome that you know that. Like, I'm not even being facetious. That's fantastic. Okay.
There are many things I do not know.
Okay. The next one from CR Stripes 3.
Great movie. Stripes.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Curious, does SN, and I'm assuming that SN refers to Sportsnet, send their own cameras to away games, or does each stadium have their own set and Sportsnet just plugs into their feed? That is a really
good question. Okay, as far as the physical cameras themselves, the ones that actually broadcast the game, they are all there at the ballpark.
Stationary?
Stationary.
Weatherproof?
Weatherproof.
Bolted into the concrete?
Pretty much. Now, for the home team, they're there all the time. There are some times where the road team, believe it or not, there are some teams that do not broadcast all of their games on television.
Like blackout stuff?
Like we just don't have all our games on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
We're blessed?
We are really blessed. Okay, now to get back to the answer. So, for the most part, the majority of the cameramen that are shooting the game are local people in that city that are hired, are freelance camera guys, and they pretty much do the away teams all season long. Now, for the last many, many, many years, Sportsnet had a gentleman, a great guy by the name of Chris Dahl, who just retired now, and he was always shooting Blue Jay games on the road. It didn't matter where they were. He actually lived in Pittsburgh. He did a lot of Pirates home games when the Jays were at home. And whenever the Jays are on the road, he would travel with our group and would be... Usually he was the guy that would be shooting the camera on the first baseline up above. So if I was doing a live hit during the game from the camera bay, he would be shooting at me from the first base dugout. But he just retired. This dude is... been shooting for many, many years. But other than him, everyone else is freelanced and hired from the local city.
Sort of a side question. This is just my own. Any idea on the count of the number of cameras? How many cameras are we talking?
Wow. So you're looking at a center field camera, a camera that's up in the booth, one behind home plate. You got a first base, a third base, upper. You've got the first base and third base lower. Are you keeping count of all this?
No, and that's
okay. To answer your question, several.
Okay.
Several.
All right. This is from Diane at Bubita53. That sounds awesome. Bubita. Barry,
say that again.
Bubita.
All right. Thank you.
Barry, a topic close to home, perhaps. To what extent can a dependency upon a specific catcher affect a pitcher's performance? For me, this actually ties into the Deandre Navarro, Marco Estrada thing, right?
And Mark Burley. Deandre Navarro was the personal catcher for both of them. You know, for the most part, Matt, it doesn't really matter for most pitchers unless you're a knuckleball pitcher. If you're R.A. Dickey, you need your Josh Tolley behind the plate. You
gotta have him, absolutely.
Right? So there are a lot of times where guys just get a really good connection. Okay. And they really, like we've seen with Russell Martin, Francisco Liriano.
Right.
There are definitely good connections, and there have been some managers that will like to have a personal catcher for certain pitchers. But at the end of the day, a guy, as long as the catcher is not a complete Nimrod, the pitcher is going to be fine.
Nobody uses Nimrod. That's fantastic.
Okay, you got one more?
Yes.
Okay.
This is from Heblita. What's up, Heather? Last night, or Monday, we saw the Jays beat the Reds. That was a beatdown, by the way. 17-2.
I remember that.
It was fantastic. No mercy rule in the Major League Baseball.
Correct.
Has a team ever come back from such a deficit?
That's a very good question. And just off the top of my head, I remember June the 8th, 1911.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Just off the top of your head.
I remember the Detroit Tigers being down by 12 runs, and they came back and won. And then another one that just kind of comes to the...
Off the top of your head?
I want to say June 15th, 1925. The now defunct Philadelphia A's were trailing by 12 and beat Cleveland.
The fact that
I did not look either one of those up, I swear.
No, because...
Just like I at my French. And there was one more. This was in August of 2001. One that I actually do remember. Cleveland playing Seattle. They came back in the 11th inning, 115-14. Now, the biggest Blue Jay comeback was... You ready for it? 1989, Blue Jays playing the Red Sox at Fenway Park. They fall behind 10-0.
Okay.
10-0.
Okay.
They come back and win the game in extra innings. In fact, it was Ernie Witt who tied the game in the top of the ninth. Actually gave the Blue Jays an 11-10 lead in the top of the ninth inning. And then the Red Sox score one in the bottom of the ninth to tie, and then it goes to the 11th inning. And the Blue Jays won it. But they were down 10-0.
So that last one, you definitely didn't look up. But you know how I know that you looked up the first two? Well, that paper sound is actually legit.
No, as we said earlier, pretend paper.
But you also used the word defunct. There is no way. I have never used the word. I've never heard you use the word defunct in regular life.
Why would I?
Well, because
our defunct drummer is the only reason that you are playing with We Ain't Petty.
Guess what? I'm probably fired.
No, you're not. We love you.